I began playing Shadowrun through a group of people I had met in Board Game Club during my later college years. They are a fantastic crew, and our GM is the best I have ever had by a good many miles. Our group consisted of GM, a cyberpunk cowboy, me, android-phobic dwarf engineer, cyborg ninja, and augmented samurai. Our characters are not really important to the story, but whatever, there they are. None of us were evil, seen at the worst of times, and though our characters butted heads on many issues regarding ethics and strategy, we all grew together into a well-oiled team that was an absolute blast to play. We respected each other in-game and out, and would play for hours each week because the narrative was so well written without ever feeling forced or claustrophobic. We had been playing the same campaign for around 2 years when a new guy wanted to join in. I called him Chode to keep his identity safe. Joining should have been a piece of cake. Our characters were all reasonable. We had no that guy. And best yet, our GM novelized each and every session into a collection of short stories, which was accessible in our group chat, along with our character profiles. Chode was privy to all this prior to joining, and was free to jump in whenever he felt comfortable. He played a hacker, and was okay at first. He was really dry, but we all just assumed Chode's character was super type A on account of being more in the digital world than he wasn't. He was skilled and seemed to be an asset to the team. We were all fighters. We could use a good tech guy. We played with Chode for a few sessions before being faced with a mission requiring stealth and strategy. Essentially, we were invading a freighter ship patrolled by a dozen or so guards in Iron Man-esque suits. We took a lot of time devising and ironing out a plan to get in and out, with distractions planned as Plan B. The hacker chose to stay behind on the airship because he was completely useless hand-to-hand and needed to play to his strengths from afar. Fair enough. And that's when shit hit the fan. Chode, who we took a chance on by allowing to join the group, despite being years deep and preferring a smaller, tighter group, had planned to betray us and kill the entire campaign from the start. Using his character's hacker skills, he arranged with the GM via text to alert the enemy ship of our characters' positions and sprung a trap to kill us off. We were completely defenseless to stop him. The GM disliked the plan and made him roll low-key to see if we noticed his character acting shady or interrupt his enemy correspondence. But Chode rolled heavily well to hack through and through. So there we were, my entire party on a boat in the middle of the ocean with our radios hacked like a bunch of sitting ducks, cover fully blown, and surrounded by Iron Men. We were all genuinely shocked by this, both in and out of character. What did Chode's character have against us? What did Chode have against us? The battle was brutal and was long as it was unnecessary. Half the team very nearly died. GM's rule was either reroll a new character a level beneath everyone else, or return as your character but with unpleasant ramifications they'll have to live with. Nobody wanted that. There is a happy ending to this story, however. Our team of 4 prevailed by the hair on our chinny chin chins and made a retreat back to base. We tracked the hacker and hauled his ass in for questioning. Chode never returned to the next session. We were planning to roleplay out what to do with him, cited as being angry that his plan did not work, and even going so far as to blaming the GM for ruining his genius twist ending, despite GM being objective to it all. Of course, we killed his character and texted him the bloody details. When later asked why he pulled that shit on us, he begrudgingly replied that it's what his character would do if forced onto a team like yours. You know, that team he chose not to read about, whose character sheets opened for viewing before, during, and after his character building process? None of us bought this shitty excuse, and as far as I know, none of us talked to him anymore. Simultaneous to our Shadowrun campaign, our GM was invited to play D&D, where Chode was DMing. GM played a bard. The session after Chode's failed little coup, he insta-party killed during a random encounter, even going as far as having the town's bard killed GM with his own song. Chode swore it had nothing to do with the outcome of our Shadowrun game, and that he was just bored with his own campaign, despite only being a few sessions in. Fucking Chode. This happened a good while ago, but was one of the experiences that drove me to take up DMing myself with the mindset that surely tabletop shouldn't be this terrible. So, I was around 19 at the time, and just joined the Tabletop Gaming Society at my university, looking to dip my toe into some tabletop RPGs and see what the fuss was about. I was directed to a Call of Cthulhu campaign that was just starting up, ran by a guy who liked the game so much that even his nickname was Cthulhu. Good sign. So I sit down and roll up an elderly alcoholic priest who's doubting his faith and trying to find some evidence of God. The idea I had was that his search of true faith would lead him into discovering Lovecraftian horrors. Basic stuff. There are about 5 of us, but the rest of the group are unimportant. The DM starts us out on a boat heading to an island to investigate discoveries of new religious artifacts that have been uncovered there. The boat arrives, and our group heads into the island to see what we find. Shortly, we come across your stereotypical group of cultists gathered in a circle around a strange artifact, chanting the typical Cthulhu Fhtagn stuff, while the head cultist read from an ominous book. I asked if I could sneak a little bit closer to get a look at the book of the artifact. The DM smiles and responds, "Go ahead, I dare you." Ominous, but I do it anyway, and roll for stealth. I succeed the check. The DM is not happy. The DM angrily explains that I get closer to the group, and I can see, and I quote, "all the DM's notes written down for the campaign, because I had to ruin everything." Before I can get an explanation, he shouts that all the cultists instantly see me and the rest of the party, and they pull out guns. We have no idea how to fight, and they seem pretty mean, so we run for the boat. One of our party members gets shot on the way back and instantly dies. We arrive at the boat and start to set sail when the DM interrupts us to say, "Something is moving on the horizon. Wait, why is the horizon itself moving? And is that tentacles? Cthulhu himself arrives and kills you all." He then closes his book and tells us that's the end of the campaign. The weirdest part was that he seemed genuinely interested in what we thought of the campaign, and was surprised that we all seemed confused and upset at what had happened.